again to the Civil Girly channel. It's really nice to have you. And today I'm not alone. I'm privileged to have my water resource engineering lecturer in the person of Engineer Steve Mitchell, who is also the senior lecturer of the School of Civil Engineering and Surveying in the University of Portsmouth. He was involved in the construction of the Cardiff Bay Barrage in 1994, and we are going to delve into his experience during the project, as well as discussions around Masters in Water and Environmental Engineering and what it takes to become a professionally qualified engineer with the Institution of Civil Engineers in the UK. Thank you so much for coming, sir.
Oh, you're very welcome. It's a pleasure to be talking to you today.
Okay. I don't think I'm doing your introduction much justice. So could you tell us a bit about yourself and your career journey?
Yes, I can. So I currently work as a lecturer in civil engineering, mainly focusing on things to do with water engineering, water and coastal engineering, I should say. And I have a PhD in that area,
Mhm.
and I've done quite a lot of research and teaching in the area of civil engineering hydraulics, especially related to coastal systems. And I've also had some time working in various design offices, doing
Okay.
pieces of work and getting involved in projects in the UK and overseas.
Oh, okay. That's nice. Um, about the Cardiff Bay Barrage, that was a major construction in 1994. And what can you tell us briefly about the purpose of the construction of the barrage?
Yes, so sure. And I'm going to say I think it was constructed a bit later than 1994, but certainly my own involvement dated from later than that.
Mhm.
I suppose I was involved in the project in about 1999. But
Okay.
nevertheless, the purpose of the project is interesting. It was built as a barrage across the mouth of Cardiff Bay, across the entrance of Cardiff Bay, as an attempt to artificially raise the level of the water in the Cardiff Bay area.
Mhm.
That then enabled a lot of other developments to take place, and essentially to raise the value and attractiveness of the land, including the Welsh Parliament building and the Opera House and other offices and facilities, just by creating a more pleasant environment, essentially to allow by allowing the water level to rise and create more of a sort of a lagoon feeling, I suppose. Yeah,
Oh,
very
okay.
expensive project, but it's, again, just really interesting in terms of the engineering challenges that it posed.
Oh, okay. So what was your specific role during the project?
My specific role was actually involved in the construction of the temporary arrangements, because you can imagine that the challenge, main challenge posed is that very, very high tidal range. So every
Yeah.
day the water level is going up and down, well, 10 meters, I don't know, some big amount. And because of that, it means anything you want to build in Cardiff Bay is going to be
Mhm.
subject to very rapid currents all the
Mhm.
time. The water's moving in and out very quickly. And so you have to make sure that any temporary structure you put in there, any temporary barrage while you're building the rest of it, is itself competent to deal with those currents. So I,
Okay.
I can remember using analysis of stability of rock armor under
Okay.
currents to look at that issue.
Oh, oh, okay. Okay. So what would you say were your biggest engineering challenges that you encountered during the construction um as well as the design phase of the project?
Well, me personally, I think I didn't. really faced the biggest challenges. My involvement was essentially some calculations to show how the rock would how the rock armor would perform as the tide came in and out over the partially submerged barrage as it was being constructed. I think the biggest challenge was actually for the contractors who had to work in that environment. And don't forget, if you work in a tidal environment, everything's sort of highly dynamic, moving all the time. You probably have to work shifts during the day and night to take account of tidal conditions. And it's very hazardous environment. You know, you have to have lots of safety protocols in place. So I would say the contractors, if you like, suffered the most in terms of the challenges they faced.
Okay. So in I know you were not like it seems like you were more with the rock embankment calculation, the temporary structures bit of it. But then do you know of any construction method or technologies that were particularly important to the success of the project?
Well, yeah, certainly. If you look at the Cardiff Bay Barrage now, you will see that it's a mixture of different technologies. So there's an embankment with lots of rock involved in the construction of the embankment, but there's also some large reinforced concrete structures associated with the locking mechanism, so the access for vessels in and out of the bay from the sea. And so one can imagine that actually these reinforced concrete structures had to be constructed by means of some sort of cofferdam device. So we had to sort of seal off bits of the harbour, again, under these very fast moving currents and varying water levels. So I would say the challenge was especially in the construction of these reinforced concrete structures to make sure that they stood up and they performed according to the design.
Okay. Do you know of whether they added concrete admixtures? Did they use supplementary cementitious materials for the concrete? Looking at the exposure conditions of the area.
Yeah, so it is. I don't. Is the short answer. It is likely that they use significant amounts of admixtures in the concrete, especially because of the saline saltwater environment. Building in the wet and especially in seawater is very
Yeah.
hazardous. It's very easy to get corrosion. You know, you may be able to build it okay, but you're really at risk of corrosion of the steel in the concrete by virtue of the salt water. So there would have had to have been some additional ingredients in the mix to try to prevent that, I think.
Okay. So now I am your student and I am particularly interested in this part of the interview. So my question is currently, how beneficial do you see water and environmental engineering program? And what does the course look like in the future? Is it going to be more relevant or less relevant?
Yeah, it's water and environmental engineering is always going to be relevant to civil engineers simply because of the projects that we get involved with. So there are every civil engineer has an interest in drainage. Many civil engineers work in flood risk management. Many civil engineers work in irrigation schemes and power schemes and so on. So an awful lot of projects have some water engineering, let's call it that, involved in them. And so an understanding of the way that water behaves under different loading conditions, under different pressures and flow rates, and the relationship, I suppose, between issues such as water level and water velocity. All those things, I think, have a bearing on a wide range of different projects. And look, you know, we're never going to we're never going to stop wanting to live in coastal areas. Living
Yeah.
near the coast is a good idea generally, because it means we can have access to the seafront and to trading opportunities, and to just because it's kind of, there's a resource there that we often want to live near.
Yeah. Okay. So how does my future, I'm going to make it on a personal level. How does my future in water and environmental engineering look like to you? And what are some of the high paying job opportunities I could tap into?
Well, unfortunately, I'm not quite so sure about the high paying bit, Emanuela, but nevertheless, there are many interesting opportunities in civil engineering.
Okay.
And broadly, now that you are coming to the end of your MSc course, you are in a very good position to work for a contractor or a consultant or a client or any organization that requires engineering skills in construction. And of course, most importantly, you now have the right educational base to apply in due time to become a chartered civil engineer, and that is a very important international professional qualification that I want to highlight.
Okay. Okay. So in terms of skills, what should we pay particular attention to as water and environmental engineers?
Oh, well, I think you need a balance of skills. I think you need to understand some of the technical aspects of water engineering, how water behaves, the sort of properties of water, the engineering applications of water projects. But I think there's a whole load of other things as well that the practicing engineer needs, including an ability to handle project management, the commercial side, of course, safety and health aspects of projects, and sustainable development. Um, and you have to be a good communicator, and you have to be ethically driven in your decision making. Now,
Okay.
the interesting thing about all the things I've just said is that these are the sort of standard attributes, if you like, of a civil engineer as set out by the British Institution of Civil Engineers.
Okay.
And so I would say that if you want to know more about that, then find out about the ICE and the
Mhm.
courses to professional registration that they offer, because that's the fundamental toolkit, if you like, of the civil
Okay.
engineer.
Okay. What advice would you give to a water and environmental engineering student?
Well, as somebody who's just graduated, I would say look for those opportunities. Look for the opportunities that are going to broaden your horizons and give you the challenge. You won't. It won't be difficult. You won't struggle to find work. I think there's plenty of opportunities out there, but you have to be brave and bold and look for them a little bit. And so just see what opportunities there are on offer. Have a look at what the big projects are on the horizon. But as a student, if you're sort of haven't graduated yet, well, try and ask your lecturers and try and read around your subject to learn as much as you can about the principles of civil engineering. Take the opportunity to do any extra bits of continuing professional development or courses to build up your skills and knowledge.
Okay. So the University of Portsmouth, they boast in student employment. They literally have a 93% in work or further studies according to the graduate outcome survey. So they talk about student employment directly and via partners. So my question is, what are some of the partners the School of Civil Engineering and Surveying are associated with?
Well, I assume by this you mean for example, the people who contribute to our industrial advisory board. We are well served by consultants and contractors from the local area, and they give us advice about the sorts of things that we have in our courses and the sorts of ways in which we can offer a good experience to students. And they cover a range of disciplines. So, for example, we have people from the Environment Agency and from Mott MacDonald, who's another big local consultant, and WSP, and various other large contractors and consultants who meet us regularly and partner with us to ensure that what we're doing is relevant and appropriate for next generation of civil engineer.
Okay, thank you so much. So my last few questions, I want us to talk more about the Institution of Civil Engineers. You've already mentioned that um being a chartered engineer is one of the things that as a water and environmental engineer graduate, you should look forward to doing it. So therefore, that means that this opportunity is open to international students
Yes, it's
as
open to
well.
anybody. The ICE is an international organization. They don't require you to be any particular nationality. It's open to everyone. And the ICE has members from all over the world. And we recognize the value of the diversity that brings to those involved in the institution. So there's no barriers to joining. If you have the right professional qualification, the right set of interests, then I would say do what you can to find out about the opportunities for a professional qualification with the ICE. It will involve a bit of additional work. You'll have to, after you graduate, you'll have to get some relevant experience with
Okay.
an employer. That employer could be anywhere in the world. I'd say, just look around for opportunities in civil engineering in the area where you live. But there's no barrier to get the professional qualification based on education and experience.
Okay. Thank you. So, but then, how long does it take to get the qualification? Do you have to write an exam before you get like what's the time period? So maybe I've decided that I want to be part of the Institution of Civil Engineers. I have all my documents, I have all my relevant experiences. How long does it take for me to actually get the chartered engineering title?
Yes, so that is a good question, and it varies depending on the individual. I would say typically after you graduate with a master's degree, you can expect to spend the next 3 to 4 years getting the relevant experience. Obviously, if you have the relevant experience already, then that's okay. But if you don't, maybe 3 to 4 years, it helps to be on some sort of registered training scheme or training agreement of some kind. But you can ask your employer about that. At the end of that period, there will be an opportunity to have what we call a professional review, and the professional review involves presentation, interview, and some sort of a short written exam.
Okay.
Now, I've summarized that, and there are a variety of different methods to get to chartered level, but I guess for most people, it involves that sort of combination of
Okay.
degree plus experience plus assessment.
Okay. And thank you so much, Steve Mitchell. We've come to the end of our interview. It was such a pleasure to have you. Thank you for making the time.
I'm absolutely delighted. Thank you very much, Emmanuel.
Okay, enjoy the rest of your summer.
Thank you very much.
So that was Steve Mitchell, my lecturer. I forgot to say a goodbye before I ended the interview, but this is the goodbye. Thank you guys for watching. Civil Girly is back again, and I have so much in store for you. I hope you stick and stay. If you are an engineering student, I think this channel is so good for you. You get to know what is ahead of you, and I'm going to have many more of this sort of interview on the channel so that you can just generally get an informed decision. You make an informed decision after school and during school. So I'm here for you guys. And the other engineering, if you are a student and you are still in the workspace, I'm going to bring on board some of the opportunities that you can tap into. Just look at them. So thank you guys for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. We are currently at 300 subscribers. Let's get to 1K by the end of the year, or you can even surprise me and let us get to 1K by the end of the month or by the end of the year. So thank you guys for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. Bye.